Today, you're going to see the 50 best acting performances of all time. The definitive ranking, where you'll witness the absolute peak of acting. The summit of what a human being can do in front of a camera. Actors who left their humanity behind and broke themselves for a role, and others who broke on screen. And the number one, it's not who you think. It's the one no one dares to place there, because what he did was inhuman. There's nothing above this.
I've learned my lesson, sir. I see now what I've never seen before. I'm cured, praise God!
Malcolm McDowell builds Alex as a charismatic sociopath within a dystopian society. His gaze, diction, and gestures make him unpredictable and magnetic. In the Ludovico treatment scene, his cornea began to tear. The screams are real. But he kept going. John Wayne delivers here his most complex and darkest performance. Harsh, racist, impenetrable, but with emotional cracks showing through. A restrained, dry interpretation that reveals what he never says. It's the myth facing its limit.
Yes. Then why the fuck didn't you say so?
J.K. Simmons plays a cruel instructor with relentless precision. His intensity, timing, and controlled aggression make him an unforgettable authoritarian figure. Every word is pure tension in his mouth. Adrien Brody shows physical and psychological deterioration with overwhelming restraint. Without grand gestures or lines, he conveys the horror of war through silence, his body, and a gaze that expects nothing anymore. Peter O'Toole builds Lawrence as a complex hero, charismatic, ambiguous, internally divided. His commanding presence holds up 4 hours of footage with authority, vulnerability, and absolute mastery of the scene.
You must get out! Get out! We want 2 large glasses of lemonade.
Johnny Depp conveys fragility, innocence, love, and loneliness with minimal gestures. His portrayal of a virtually mute character stands out for its emotional subtlety, filled with humanity despite its fantastical appearance. At 20 years old, Leonardo DiCaprio delivers a devastating performance as a teenager beginning to fall into addiction. His physical and emotional commitment, without artifice or protection, is one of the rawest portrayals of adolescent downfall in cinema. Chaplin achieves emotional connection without a single line of dialogue. His performance, based solely on gestures and glances, reaches a humanity so pure that the ending is considered one of the most moving in film history. Jack Nicholson turns McMurphy into the perfect symbol of rebellion. His performance moves between comedy and tragedy, always maintaining brutal intensity. An iconic role that changed not only his career, but the history of cinema.
Max, no. Don't.
Denzel Washington dominates every frame as Alonzo Harris. His charisma, aggression, and total control make this portrayal of a corrupt cop one of the most intimidating and unforgettable in modern cinema. Brad Pitt takes his character from youthful arrogance to emotional collapse with total control. The final scene is one of the best acted outbursts of rage and desperation in cinema. Brutal, believable, and unrestrained.
Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh!
Henry Fonda breaks away from his classic image of the kind-hearted man to create a child-killing villain, cold and ruthless. His performance is silent, restrained, and full of menace. Every shot of him freezes time. He is evil without ever raising his voice. Hugh Jackman's performance as a desperate father reaches an extreme level of intensity. His character pushes the limits of morality, and Jackman never softens him. Every scene is a battle between instinct and guilt. Raw, painful, real. Robert De Niro carries the weight of trauma in every frame. From his restraint before the war to the emotional collapse upon returning, his performance conveys the breakdown of a man marked forever, precise, quiet, and devastating. Marlon Brando marks a before and after in the history of acting. With physical brutality and an almost animal presence, he redefines screen intensity, ending theatrical acting once and for all. His work here changed acting in cinema forever.
You know what I say? Ha ha! You hear me? Ha ha ha!
Al Pacino overflows as Tony Montana, building an out-of-control, aggressive, and charismatic character with a flawless Cuban accent.
Antonio Montana. And you? What you call yourself?
The energy he unleashes is inexhaustible. There is no balance, only downfall. And he does it with brutal intensity.
Say hello to my little friend!
Choi Min-sik delivers a physical, brutal, and emotionally devastating performance. He moves through rage, madness, tenderness, and despair with a truth that pierces the screen. His final scene is total human collapse. Daniel Day-Lewis dominates every frame. His Bill the Butcher is a fierce, theatrical, and completely alive character. Every word sounds like a threat. His presence intimidates both the camera and the characters around him.
My father gave his life making this country what it is.
Kathy Bates brings to life an unpredictable fanatic with a mix of sweetness and disturbing menace. Her sudden tone shifts and total control of every scene made her an instant icon of psychological horror.
But her spirit is the important thing, and Misery Spirit is still alive.
I don't want her spirit! I want her! And you murdered her!
Robert De Niro proved he doesn't need to play a mobster to deliver a masterful performance. He achieves a touching physical and emotional transformation. His portrayal of an awakened neurological patient is subtle, vulnerable, and deeply human.
This is me. This is me.
Meryl Streep delivers one of the most restrained and emotional performances of her career. Every look, every pause reveals the inner conflict of a woman trapped between duty and a silent desire.
Wait a minute, Richard.
Pacino delivers a restrained and cold performance. Michael Corleone's evolution into emotional emptiness is built frame by frame, word by word. Coldness, guilt, power. A masterclass in acting control.
In my home! In my bedroom where my wife sleeps! Where my children come and play with their toys.
Heath Ledger disappears inside the Joker. Every gesture, every word, every look is unpredictable. He doesn't play a villain, he becomes one with chaotic authenticity. He forever changed the standard of acting. Anne Hathaway turns a single scene into an unforgettable moment. She sings, "I dreamed a dream" in a single shot, with no cuts or embellishments. Real tears, broken breathing, and pain so authentic it doesn't feel like acting.
I'm living, so never know from what it seems. Nobody cares about me. You all act as though we're nothing at all.
Vivien Leigh doesn't play Scarlett O'Hara. She turns her into an immortal figure of cinema. Arrogant, fragile, intense, she shifts tone with astonishing precision. Her emotional control was revolutionary for its time. Sean Penn breaks down on camera with no concessions. His portrayal of pain and rage is physical, visceral, and completely believable. The park scene is an emotional discharge that isn't watched, it's felt. Real pain without forced dramatics. Toni Collette explodes emotionally in one of the most brutal performances in cinema. Screaming, grief, collapse. She controls hysteria without falling into absurdity. She terrifies not because of the script, but because of the truth, the trauma, and the unbearable pain. Anthony Hopkins redefines the cinematic villain with a performance measured to the millimeter. In just 16 minutes of screen time, he imposes a presence so powerful it feels omnipresent. Every line is pure, contained poison.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
It's also a personal statement about the band itself. Hey, Paul! Ah!
Bale transforms Patrick Bateman into a machine of control, narcissism, and psychopathy. His physical precision, his ability to shift tone in seconds, and his coldness make the character a classic of modern cinema.
Slow down. While I what? Huh? While I what? Take it easy! My husband and my little girls are dead, and I'm supposed to take it fucking easy!
Naomi Watts dives into the pain of a woman shattered by loss and collapse. Her performance is raw, unfiltered, full of rage, crying, and real physical vulnerability. Every scene is an emotional discharge, with heartbreaking exposure, suffering unbearable pain. The realism she achieves doesn't feel acted. It's almost documentary-like, a performance so intense it hurts to watch, and so truthful it drags you down with it. Rarely has suffering felt so real on camera.
Don't touch me! Get out of my house now! You make me sick!
Ralph Fiennes doesn't play a villain. He embodies the absolute horror of everyday Nazism. Amon Goth is a presence that chills the blood without needing grand gestures. The coldness, the banality of evil, the moral void, it's all in his gaze. Fiennes manages to show monstrosity as something routine, which makes it even more disturbing. He's an unforgettable villain because he doesn't need to do anything to terrify. His mere existence threatens every scene.
Sandra, stop. Stop.
What am I doing?
You've got to pull yourself together.
Cate Blanchett delivers a complete psychological transformation. Jasmine lives in constant denial, shifting between arrogance, fragility, and collapse. Every word, every gesture, every nervous tick reveals a mind unraveling. Blanchett balances pathos and tragedy with brutal precision. It's a performance where pain isn't screamed, it's dragged, hidden, and eventually explodes. A mental breakdown turned into art.
Well, there's only so many traumas a person can withstand till they take to the streets and start screaming.
The third revelation is your spiritual guide! Get out of here! Get out of here!
Paul Dano builds a preacher who is charismatic, desperate, and increasingly defeated. His character doesn't have the same physicality or power as Day-Lewis, but he confronts him with total intensity. Dano conveys repression, fanaticism, fear, and restrained ambition. The baptism scene is an impressive acting duel that, though overshadowed by Day-Lewis, shows his ability to hold his ground without flinching. Without him, the film's greatness would be incomplete. Dano doesn't lose a single frame.
I am sorry, Lord.
I am sorry, Lord.
I want the blood.
I want the blood.
You have abandoned your child.
You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum.
Brando marks a turning point in realistic acting. Terry Malloy is an ordinary man, vulnerable, full of frustration and fear. But instead of shouting, Brando whispers, moves awkwardly, slouches. The car scene with Rod Steiger is legendary, not just because of the script, but because of how Brando turns it into a living confession. This performance broke with the old school and changed cinema forever. It was the birth of the modern actor.
You talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me?
Robert De Niro embodies madness and alienation as Travis Bickle. His performance is built in silence, in empty stares, in restless gestures. The famous, "You talking to me?" scene is just the tip of the iceberg. What truly terrifies is how De Niro conveys isolation, latent rage, mental collapse. With every passing second, he becomes more frightening. A real portrait of a mind on the edge, so believable it's uncomfortable, irreplicable.
I told her I'd come back, and I never went back, and now I gotta get back to her.
Why don't you go back?
I don't know.
Why don't you go
I don't know!
Phoenix builds Freddy Quell as a completely broken, unpredictable, animalistic being. His body language is explosive and painful. He hunches his back, drags his words, expresses violence and a need for love at the same time. What's fascinating is how Phoenix makes it impossible to look away from someone we don't fully understand. His performance is uncomfortable, unpredictable, and absolutely magnetic. There's not a false gesture. It's all impulse, pain, and truth.
Thank you, Judge. And may you rot in hell, sending a raped woman to death!
Charlize Theron delivered the most shocking physical transformation in cinema history. But what's truly brutal is the emotional transformation. Aileen is no caricature or monster. She's a desperate, lonely, violent, human woman. Theron makes you feel empathy even in her most atrocious acts. Her gaze transmits pain, fear, and a desire for love that never finds fulfillment. Every frame of hers is total risk. It's a performance with no protection, no artifice, and no ego. Isabelle Adjani gives one of the wildest performances ever filmed. Her descent into madness is physical, vocal, mental. The famous tunnel scene is an uncontrollable eruption where the entire body acts. It convulses, screams, suffers. But it doesn't stop at the extreme. Adjani builds a character full of internal pain and trauma. Her performance is a violent and unrepeatable emotional experience. Falconetti acts only with her face. Without words, without movement, she conveys terror, faith, pride, and suffering in unforgiving close-ups. Her performance is so full of truth, it doesn't feel like acting. She's living every second. The level of emotional intensity is so high it becomes hypnotic. It's a performance ahead of its time, and even today, it remains unreachable. It is the most powerful face in the history of cinema. Daniel Day-Lewis didn't just act Christy Brown's cerebral palsy, he lived it throughout the entire shoot. He never broke character. He ate, moved, and spoke like him, forcing others to feed him and push him in a wheelchair. Every spasm, every dragged word, every clumsy gesture is authentic, painful, exact. There's no caricature or exaggeration, only complete physical truth. He didn't imitate a limited body, he inhabited one. Isabelle Huppert plays a woman who is restrained, repressed, obsessive, and broken inside. And she does it without ever exploding, without needing to scream or cry. Every frame with her is pure tension. Her face changes only slightly, but the viewer feels everything. In some scenes, the discomfort is so intense you don't know whether to watch or look away. It's an extremely difficult, uncomfortable performance, and precisely for that reason, a great one. Rarely has coldness felt so emotional. Naomi Watts managed to embody two opposite characters, the sweet, dreamy, aspiring actress, and the woman destroyed by jealousy, failure, and guilt. The casting scene is a brutal lesson in emotional tone shift within seconds. At first, it seems overacted, until you see her break, change her voice, her rhythm, her gaze. Later, in the second part of the film, she becomes the complete opposite of everything seen before. Watts moves through desire, fantasy, and horror with surgical and overwhelming precision. Alexei Kravchenko was only 14, but what he shows in Come and See is the closest thing to real horror ever captured on a human face. His expression slowly changes, from a child to a human being dead inside. The camera leaves him alone in front of terror, and he responds with something no child should be able to express. There's no protection, no emotional distance. His collapse is physical, mental, psychological. It's a deterioration filmed in real time. No cuts, no help, no escape. It is the face of war recorded in the present. And that cannot be faked. What you see is real. And that makes it unique in the history of cinema.
Stop her. And when she told him these dreams, he believed them.
Nastasia Kinski appears late in the film, but when she speaks, time stops. Her monologue behind the glass is one of the most devastating moments in cinema. She doesn't cry, she doesn't scream, but what she conveys with her eyes and her trembling voice is pure contained collapse. The way she avoids eye contact, the way she holds back, the way she suffers without fully breaking, it's a masterclass in emotional restraint. Kinski doesn't perform, she confesses. Her pain is not theatrical, it's intimate, silent, unbearable. And the most striking thing, she does it all sitting down, barely moving, with only her voice and her gaze. In less than 10 minutes, she delivers one of the most honest, painful, and pure performances in film history. That's why she's here, because sometimes the greatest moments happen in a whisper.
I don't mind listening.
Robert De Niro gained nearly 30 kilos at a time when no actor transformed like that. But that's only the surface. What he does from the inside is what puts him here. Jake LaMotta isn't a character. He's a brute force of insecurity, rage, and a desperate need to be loved without knowing how. De Niro doesn't try to make him likable or complex. He just lets him exist in all his emotional ugliness. The mirror scene, alone, hitting himself, sums it all up. Guilt, loneliness, failure, self-loathing. The level of commitment is so brutal that actor and character dissolve into one. He's not trying to impress or win anyone over. He just shows the rawest truth of a man destroying himself inside while everyone outside applauds.
How'd to go? Hey, Ray. Never went down, Ray. You never got me down, Ray.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
Don't bully me, Daniel!
I know many of you were expecting me to put him at number 1, but honestly, he could be. For this role, Day-Lewis isolated himself for months, created a voice from scratch, and once filming began, he never came out of character. He suffered serious mental after effects that forced him into therapy. Because Daniel Day-Lewis disappears inside Daniel Plainview, he builds the voice, the posture, the gaze, the breathing. But it's not just technique, it's sustained intensity throughout the entire film. Every scene, every word, every silence is loaded with tension, rage, ambition, and emptiness. And when he explodes, it's with a fury that seems to come from deep within. It's a monstrous character, and at the same time, profoundly human. It's a perfect performance, but it's still a technical construction. The number 1 goes beyond that.
Say it louder!
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
I was scared.
Will you shut the fuck up and listen to me? Just listen to me!
Al Pacino gave the most alive, raw, and desperate performance ever filmed in cinema history, constantly playing on the edge, but never overacting. Instead of building a character, he becomes pure energy, unpredictable and human. His performance is explosive, but also deeply vulnerable. The iconic Attica is just the surface. What's truly terrifying is how he channels the desperation of someone who knows everything is lost. How he lives the anxiety, the nerves, and the absolute panic. He shifts tone in seconds, from charismatic leader to defeated son. He has never been more alive on screen. He doesn't play a bank robber. He plays the collapse of a human being in real time. Every word, every tick, every scream is emotional dynamite. There's no filter, no restraint, only truth. It's the fiercest, most electric, most human Pacino. And that makes it unmatched.
Don't shoot me.
Meryl Streep mastered and elevated every technical element to the highest level. Accent, language, restraint. She learned German and Polish. But what makes this performance unique is how her entire body carries guilt and grief. The key scene, which gives the film its title, is pure pain, and Streep doesn't exaggerate it or beautify it. She simply lets it happen. Every gesture, every word carries the weight of trauma. A performance that combines total control with unbearable vulnerability. The peak of technique in service of emotion.
I'm sorry. I don't know why you did it. I do it to him, I do. Oh.
Marlon Brando doesn't play Paul. He uses him to bleed emotionally on camera. Instead of building a character, he lets his own trauma speak. The scene in front of the corpse is improvised. There was no script, no preparation. He cries for real, for the death of his real-life wife, and he does so with brutal vulnerability. There is no visible technique, no accent, no physical transformation, just a man emotionally destroyed in front of the camera. His performance is uncomfortable, messy, unstructured, but it conveys more truth than any other. While others give themselves to a role, Brando gives up his most painful private self. He strips away ego, character, and turns cinema into confession. No other actor has ever gone that far without hiding. What he did was unrepeatable, because he was no longer an actor. He was a broken human being, captured forever. Other performances can be analyzed and studied. This one can't. Because to get there, Brando had to truly destroy himself. And that makes it the most extreme, courageous, and devastating performance ever put on film.
No! Those ne croyons pas! Nobody believes in us! God, here!
Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, I've got many more videos about great performances. This was by far the video that cost me the most to make, so I hope it was worth it. Subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.